How to do it now.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're tuning into the podcast, whatever platform may be on. My name is Steve Linek. This is Weezy. That's over there is douchebag Marcus. And you're listening to Fallen Out Radio. Tonight we're entering into our fourth podcast, and tonight we're talking about Llorona. Marcus?
Sure.
And shadow people. And these are two urban legends we decided to put together because I think they could somewhat tie in together somehow. They're both like spiritual, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So let's start it off with Marcus giving us a little rundown about. Just kidding. What do you think, Weezy?
No, that's cool.
You guys can, because I talk a lot.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to start off was actually you had a story when just a couple nights ago, and you and I also had a story about this about a few weeks ago, and
that's kind of what sparked this
segment
in this. Yeah.
You want me to start with my story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we have a brother who is severely haunted, like himself is haunted, and he's always had attachments to him. And it just seemed like that's like how he's been like this whole life, ever since he's started dabbling in that stuff.
Well, I think if you're welcoming of it, then yeah, it's probably gonna attach itself to you.
And that's the thing. That's the thing about him. He's always been welcoming of it. He's always been
embracing it.
And the thing about it is he's always been attuned to it as well. Like he's always known there's something messing with him, and he always want to mess with it back. And he lives above me in our we live like a duplex.
He just had to move in right above you.
And the thing was, the place we live in should be haunted because there's dark history that happened in this place. And nothing's ever happened to me here, but as soon as our brother moved in his apartment, which I used to live in, stuff started happening to him.
It like skyrocketed.
Yeah. And me and Alethea, we're sitting in our bedroom, which kind of faces it's in his walkway and his entrance, right? So his stairs are right behind our window. And we were sitting there, and she was folding clothes or something, and we hear this woman crying outside. And I turned to Alethea, I'm like, do you hear that? And she, I don't know if she like didn't hear me or something, but she's like, did you hear that? And I'm like, what the hell? So I go out there and to my window and I peek it open to see if there's anybody out there because we hear this woman crying like clearly, and it seems like it's coming from his stairs. And she hears it and I hear it, and we both hear it for about a couple minutes. After me looking out there and closing it, we can still hear it coming from his stairs.
Oh, that's creepy.
And the thing about it was just 2 nights after we announced that we were going to be covering Llorona.
Yeah, I started showing him all kinds of stuff, and right after that, just it got ugly.
And it seems like we've been like there's a pattern going because we did a podcast about this man conspiracy about a man entering into people's dreams, and as soon as we started doing that podcast, looking into that, then he started appearing in people's dreams. Then we started announcing Llorona, and a couple nights after that, then we had an experience,
right,
with a crying woman.
Maybe something's following the podcast. That should
maybe.
Yeah, maybe you're conjuring something.
And that was.
I'm like I'm blaming him. You're doing
this was half your idea too.
Fault.
This was started off a small idea. Now we got 2 other people added into the podcast. It's growing. Do you have a story about that? Like, have you heard anything?
I haven't had any like personal experiences with Llorona or nothing, but I heard the story or whatever, like the origin story of Llorona, and it was just there's this woman that falls in love with a man or whatever. He was like kind of royalty, and she was pretty much poor, so they're like messing around or whatever. They end up having a few kids, and he finds another woman that's younger and prettier, and she's kind of royalty too, so just kind of like abandons his family and is messing around with this other chick. Well, while that's going on, his other girlfriend with his kids are like starving and they're super poor and nobody will help them. And she ends up drowning her kids in the lake or river or whatever out of like I don't know, like mercy pretty much, because they're like dying of dysentery anyway.
Weird.
But like right after she drowns them, she doesn't like realize what she did, and has like PTSD or something about it. And then the authorities, because she drowned her kids or whatever, like take her into custody, and they ended up like publicly executing her. And the husband didn't like know anything until he like witnessed her execution, and then realized that his kids were dead too.
Whoa.
And like now she's looking everywhere for her kids, but
As
she's the one that killed him.
like a spirit now.
Yeah, as a spirit.
Like
People
trying to
hear her
find
crying.
children, or like replace them in a way, or just trying to search for her kids.
I don't know. I think she just she's always crying and searching for her kids. I don't think she targets like any specific person. I think it's just like anybody that hears her or whatever.
Yeah, like I found a bunch of different, like when it comes to Llorona, there's a bunch of different origin stories, but they are all pretty much the same. Like there was one where, you know, yeah, you're right. The guy came from like, you know, royalty, and he married a woman who was, you know, from poor side, and the family was like, they didn't accept her.
Right.
And he later on like fell in love with some other woman that, you know, came from a rich background, and he basically abandoned them, and just out of rage she kills her children, like trying to take the only thing that she could from him.
Right.
You know, and then immediately regrets what she did, and then kills herself. You know, there's that story, and then there's another one where he went off to like he went off somewhere. I think it was like had to do with some war, and then he ended up marrying a European woman who had you know, royal background, and the same thing, like he came back and basically framed her for murder.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, they ended up taking the kids, like he had his men take the kids out like late at night and drowned them, and didn't even say anything, ended up kicking her out like the next day, and then they just came after her, like trying to blame her for the murder of these children, and then drowned her in the same river that they tossed the kids in.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it's two stories that are somewhat along the same lines, but it's just kind of swapped a little bit.
And then then I heard the one that he was talking about where she drowned her kids in her tub, and then there's one where she drowned her kids in the river, but it was always the same, backstory when it came to that, like the Mexican, you know, story, where, like that origin story. But there's also basically the same kind of spirit that people are seeing or hearing, and it's just, you know, you can't even find a background to those ones.
Right, because they're like worldwide.
Yeah.
So it's like there's really no true origin story.
Well, to the Hispanic version of it, there is a backstory.
It's like a legit account. Right?
So
yeah, it's actual
and they're
account.
like one of the biggest ones that capitalize on that story. I mean, it's their like witch or something.
Yeah. But when I looked into like, you know, like Native American culture, and there's a lot on it. They call it the crying woman, and that one is creepy as hell. Like actually finding people, like, you know, people actually telling me their stories of this encountering this spirit, and it is creepy. It is really creepy. Like even my dad told me a story, and my mom told me a story that their encounter with this spirit, and it was just, oh man, that was like one of the creepiest stories.
Before we get too far, I just want to say that we missed Aaron Martin in this podcast.
Right. Yeah, he had to work early in the morning, so he had to go to bed early too.
We went and saw him for a couple minutes, and he looked really tired, and
he looked beat, man.
And then he kicked us out right at 10 o'clock.
Old man stuff.
He was like the whole time just watching us.
Yeah.
Looking for that opening. All right, you guys gotta go.
Okay, so right now we're doing this. I'm gonna cut a montage of just Aaron in there
Oh my
playing
God.
some very soft music, that we just missed Aaron on this podcast. I did it to Marcus once. Everyone thought he died.
Yeah, I know. What? He died? And I'm like, my nephew's sitting right next to him. I'm like, I'm right here.
Mark watched the podcast. He's like, you killed me, huh? He's all having fun in the freaking montage, laughing and stuff. And there's soft music. He's all slow motion.
That's awesome.
Stupid.
All right, so as you were saying, Marcus.
Yeah, like some people tell me they heard a woman crying outside their house late at night. Even sometimes like a few nights in a row. And every time, that happens, there'd be like a darkness over, that person's home or that person. And it would last sometimes days, weeks, months. And sometimes, people would hear it and it would try to draw them outside. And when they go outside, they'd disappear. Sometimes for weeks. And when they find them, they have no idea where they were. And the last thing they remember is somebody crying out to them outside their home.
I wonder if there's any more connection to it. I mean, as far as you seeing that spirit and something that was to happen in your family like later on. Mm-hmm. Because we were talking to my dad tonight, and he spoke to one of their good minister friends, mm-hmm. and he told him a similar story, and that guy said you basically heard a spirit, and they're connected to that house that he was around or something. And he said that it could be one of your family members. Like there's something that's trying to prey on your family or something along those lines, right?
Or even like where he was like around, like he said, like think you've like actually heard like dead people.
Yeah,
hearing them, but that had something to do with something else, but it was almost pretty close. But you want me to tell the story that Dad actually?
Sure, let's hear it.
Yeah, that was the reason why he told us this story again. It was a story he told me a long time ago when I was really little, and I kind of forgot about it for a long time. And about 2 nights ago, I was sleeping, and I heard that you're not supposed to leave your window open at night, when you go to sleep.
Is that along the lines with the Llorona?
With a kind of like a crying woman type story. Mm-hmm.
I break that rule every night.
Yeah.
I can't sleep without the window open.
Now, usually if I'm in town, I'd leave
probably
it open.
creep it on you.
Yeah. But
you're out in the country now.
Yeah, I was out in the country.
You're in La Llorona country.
Like literally out in the country. Nobody really knows where I am. So that's what made this whole thing that much creepier. I was like literally in a, have you ever had sleep paralysis?
No, I haven't.
We just got in a debate about what the hell is like in the car.
Sometimes it happens when you're really, really tired. Like if you're just deadbeat tired and you're about to doze off and, you try to wake yourself up and then you just can't move. Like you could barely twitch almost. You're aware of everything around you. What's on the TV. You can see everything in the room, all of that. You hear everything.
I did a dab once.
You can't move.
It was like that. Never smoked again. Ruined it for me.
But
that's one of the things that was like one of our theories. Like, what if doing things like that alter your way of thinking opens you up to like a spiritual realm or something?
No, I was fucking baked. I just couldn't move.
No, you were having an experience.
You're in the spirit realm.
You were in the
spirit world.
Spirit world for a bit.
Yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, that's kind of where I was because I was tired, from work. I worked late and I was just kind of beat and I dozed off for a minute, but I couldn't move. Like I was aware I was awake and I could barely move my head. And then,
the way you did it earlier was just hilarious.
And if you're ever in that state, it sucks, man.
You're trying to fight his
like trying to wake yourself up and you're like half asleep but you can't move your body. It is like one of the creepiest feelings in the world. And I was in that moment when I started hearing crying and I started hearing somebody saying Mark.
When you were paralyzed.
Yeah. And I kept hearing Mark and that within that crying. And then I heard Marcus and I shook myself up and, I leaned over and, I shook Sarah and I told her, hey, and I didn't want to say, did you hear, this woman crying? I said, hey, did you hear one of the girls crying? Because she gets scared easy.
Right.
So I just, hey, did you hear? I just wanted to hear if she heard crying. She said, no, I didn't hear anything. And I was like, okay. So I laid down for a second, and I was up for a while, you know, kind of sitting there, and I slowly started dozing off again, and then right there again, that sleep paralysis feeling, and I heard it again, except I heard it right by my head, and right by my head is the window, and it was wide open, and I can hear it again crying Mark, and finally when it said Marcus, I kind of shook off that, you know, my sleep, and I sat there for a second. I was wide awake. And it didn't stop. I could still hear it
while you were awake.
Now, that scared the hell out of me. Right away I shook her and I said, "Hey, get up!" You know, I woke her up. I was like, "No, you're not sleeping, man. You're waking up.
You're gonna stay awake with me until I feel better." Inside.
I was like, "No." I was like, "You can't hear that crying." And she said, she got up, and right when she sat up and she looked at me, it stopped. And she said, "No, I don't hear anybody crying." You know, and I was just creeped out.
What if Sarah's just a secretive ventriloquist? The whole time she was throwing her voice out the window, freaking you out.
What if that skill doesn't come out unless she's sleeping?
Plot twist.
What a twist!
But no, right when that happened,
it'd be disgusting.
Right after that happened, you know, she rolled right back over and went to sleep, and me, I was wide awake after that. And just thoughts were flying through my mind, and it brought back a memory of a story my dad told me. He was 19 at the time, and my mom was 18, and they were staying with his parents, you know. And there was this one room down on the side of the house, and they heard knocking on the window. And he said that there was a knock at the window, and he heard Champ, and he, you know, kind of looked over, and he thought it was his sister. And it knocked again, and said, "Champ, open the door." And he walked upstairs, and he unlocked the door, and he came back downstairs. And he said it knocked again, said, "Champ, open the door." And he said, "It's unlocked." He said, "It's open. Go upstairs." And then he said it started sound like it was crying. And my mom was sitting right there, and you know, once it started crying, you know, automatic, she's like, "Who the hell is that?" You know,
right? Some other woman up there.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what she said. She's like, "That was right there." I was like, "Who the hell is that?" You know, and he said, I don't know that voice. You know, I swear to God, I don't know who the hell that is.
But she didn't believe him, did she?
Yeah. So he was like, no. He's like, he ran upstairs.
What a good cover.
He went upstairs.
It's La Llorona.
And he
I did not think that would go off loudly.
Right. I thought
my phone's on silent too.
He went upstairs.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have an alarm on.
That's stupid.
That's why I said set it to vibrate.
I'll pause it.
Anyway.
Yeah. He said he went upstairs and he walked outside. And he went around the side of the house and looked, and he said there was nobody standing there. And he walked back inside. He said there's nobody there.
There was knocking going on, wasn't there?
And he said it stopped when he looked outside. He went back downstairs and he said it started knocking again, crying "Champ." And he went back upstairs and went outside again, and he said, you know, there's nobody there. And finally he said, you know, tell me when you hear that knock again, and he'll peek around that corner. And my grandma came out and asked, you know, what's going on? And he told her, and you know, she just, you know, kind of watching him. And he went around that corner right when he can hear the knocking, and he was staring at this window, and there was nobody standing there. And my mom was standing inside the room, and she said it was still knocking on the window, crying.
Oh, weird.
Oh.
And he went back inside, and my grandpa came out of his room, and he basically got mad at him. Told him, you know, "Champ, don't go outside." He said, don't answer it. Yeah, don't go outside. You stay inside. And my dad, you know, trying to be tough, like right when he heard it again, my mom said, you know, it's knocking again. He ran around the house. He ran all the way around the house, and he said there was nobody out there. And my grandpa got mad at him. And then my grandpa told him a story about one of my dad's uncles who actually lived outside of Grable, Wyoming. Yeah. And he said he heard the same thing. Some woman knocking on his window and crying his name. And when he went outside, he was asking, hello, is anybody there? He heard the crying coming from the tree line. So he started walking toward the tree line, and he disappeared for over a week.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when my grandpa got mad at him. He said he disappeared for over a week. Right. Nobody knew where he was. Everybody was looking for him. And they even put out a missing, report on him. And a week and a half later, I think it was, some people found him in the middle of a field, and he was walking, and they said he was disoriented. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know, he was just like completely out of it, and he had nothing on. He had no shoes on, no clothes on, no nothing.
Dude, it sounds like he got roofied.
Yeah.
By the crying woman.
And he said that, he literally said, they'd ask, where were you? And like, they're asking, like, where have you been? And all of that. And he said, I don't know. He said, the last thing I remember is walking outside of his house, hearing that woman crying. And he literally lost a week and a half, and he cannot remember one detail of it.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think you'd, like, die of, like, dehydration or something weird.
They just, like, they just found him one morning walking.
Was he, like, healthy? He was just disoriented?
I don't know. They just said that he was, like, literally out of it.
Wow. That's crazy.
And there was this another story I heard. This girl, she was walking, in a small town in Mexico, and she used to cut across the woods, like her family kind of lived across the woods, and she was walking. She was taking something to her grandma, and in the middle of the woods, she came across a woman crying, and she said she was wearing like a veil, and she kind of looked at her and kept walking by, and she said right when she heard her start to cry, it was like she was paralyzed. She couldn't move a bone in her body.
Once she heard the
cry, and then she said the crying started coming closer and closer to her. And then she said she blinked, and it was right in front of her.
She saw it.
Yeah, she said the face was just like, it had no face. And it screamed at her. Right when it was face to face with her, she said it let out like a demonic screech. And she fainted. And her family went looking for her, and they found her in the middle of those woods. And they said her eyes were open, and she was just like literally frozen stiff.
Like petrified.
Did she like come out of it though when they messed with her?
3 days later.
3 days, jeez.
She was sitting in her bed for 3 days. She didn't eat. She didn't drink. She didn't talk. She stayed awake the whole time, just staring like she was just traumatized.
Wow.
And finally, when she spoke on the third day, and she told them what happened, but that was the only time she ever told anyone. And they took her to the hospital, and she wouldn't even tell the doctors anything. She just said she doesn't remember. Well, and, because they were afraid, she was like raped or something and just traumatized. Right. Until she told them what happened. And they said that she was just in a catatonic state for like 3 days, just traumatized. And that was the only time she ever told that story, is when she finally snapped out of it.
That's crazy. Yeah. I wonder if she did like lose memory of it.
I don't know.
I think that you can get that traumatized where you just lose it. Like, you know what I mean? You block it out.
Scared?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, when I heard that story, like different people telling the story, like when you hear her crying, it traumatizes, or it paralyzes you. That's immediately what I thought about when I heard it, because I was like in a state of sleep paralysis. Like
you were paralyzed.
I was paralyzed. I couldn't move my body. So I was like, that was something that kind of a similar thing, right, between those two.
It could have took you out that window.
Yeah. So that just creeped me the hell out. Like reading, I was like, man, like now I know how that feels. Like hearing that crying, like really close to you, and you can't move.
I don't know how it'd be if like I saw you like in that state. I'd probably think you're messing with me the whole time.
That was ugly. I'm not gonna lie, that was ugly. Like usually I wouldn't even say anything, but that was like the creepiest thing I've ever had to deal with. That was just ugly. But like a part of me was like, no, I was half asleep. I was probably dreaming, But when I was sitting there wide awake and I heard it, I was like, okay, there's something out there. And that's when I shook Sarah and told her, you need to get up.
And you didn't go out there to see?
Hell no.
What if someone was out there trying to get your
'cause,
attention?
Like, yeah, like right away, like when I sat up and I woke her up, I immediately remembered what Dad said, never go outside.
Yeah.
When Grandpa told him never go outside when you hear that. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going out there. I was like, there's nobody knows where I live. I was like, this is not anybody that I know. So
Right.
So in that case, she's not just taking kids; she's taking anybody.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it might not be the same thing. This could be something entirely different.
So do you think that there's a difference between the crying woman and the La Llorona?
Yeah, I think there is.
Like in Native American lore, you were mentioning I saw one of your posts saying the crying woman.
Yeah.
And then now we have this La Llorona figure who preys on children.
Yeah, because the crying woman, they say, some people told me that if you hear that, it brings bad, just bad.
Juju.
Yeah, basically something bad. It they say it'll bring it's just a sign of death or
Kind of like
curses
an owl.
or kind of like an owl in like Native American culture. It's just a sign of death or something. Like somebody in your family's gonna die or something like that.
See, I never heard the version where she preys on children. She just preys on anybody. But there is a version of kind of like La Llorona we touched on when we did, what was it, Water Spirits?
I think it stopped. No, is it going?
No, it's gone.
I'm sorry, I'm just blind.
When we did Water Spirits, there's the Swamp Woman or whatever in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
For those
talking about
tribes, and she preyed on children. And that's kind of like a close La Llorona story, too. That people hear her crying or whatever. And she's trying to get children that she never had or something.
that.
Yeah.
And there was even another woman who she said that she had a dream of her. In this dream, it was like she heard rain, and the closer the crying got, the closer the rain got. And when she was standing right in front of her, it was raining.
We should have turned that. You guys should have turned that dude crying on the audio into a woman.
No.
The guy sounds more ominous.
But she said, they said, if she lifts her veil at you, that basically means you're hers.
Oh, interesting.
And you're gonna help her, basically take these kids, once you die.
Oh, wait a second. Is it so? Okay, once you die.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you meant like when you're like living. Like, what if that's kidnappers?
No, it's once you die, it's like you're hers.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's one other version I heard of it.
I'm trying to.
But that was the only other version. That's the only version I heard when it was actually targeting adults.
Interesting.
It's weird. It's pretty strange.
That is crazy.
We went to 27 minutes, 59 seconds. What do you think?
I think that's all I got for La Llorona.
That's pretty much all I got for La Llorona. Do you have any more, Marcus? Huh?
A little bit, but yeah, it's kind of staggering through it there.
Right.
It was just creepy.
Do you want to jump on into shadow people?
Yeah, we can jump into that, I guess.
Pause.
Okay, do it. Do the thing.
I'm not doing the re-intro.
do
I think
the thing.
we've already done the podcast. This is going to be entered into the podcast anyway, so...
Right.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Just kidding. We are now transitioning into our second segment of our Urban Legends episode. We are entering into Shadow People. And this one seems to be something that's a little more vague on like what exactly are they? I mean, me and Marcus did a podcast a few weeks back, and we were trying to basically figure out what the hell these things were.
Like a small series of podcasts.
Yeah. I just don't want to go to this podcast and regurgitate what we've already put out there.
That's going to happen, but...
A refresher.
Yeah.
We'll call it a
Okay, so
refresher.
my thing is if they're... Some people look at them as a good thing, but a lot of people look at them as something extremely bad, especially like mediums and psychics.
Yeah, they're afraid of them.
They're afraid of them. Like every psychic you see on TV, every medium that you see on TV, every time they enter into a home and they see a shadow person, they're like terrified to be in that home.
I think why is because they see manifestation. actual manifestation,
Yeah.
an actual like figure of this spirit is what they're seeing. I think that's why they're afraid of them. Like if you can see it, it's that much more real.
Yeah.
I think
And
I think that's what it is.
The thing about them too is they always move quickly.
Yeah.
Like you'll see them, like there's videos on YouTube you can watch, and people recording these things, and they move quick. They're like, they're like just like a glimpse, and like they look like freaking shadow. Just
I don't know though.
There you go.
I've seen some videos or whatever where it's like a head peeking around a corner,
Yeah.
oh right, yeah.
and that's fucking creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Like I think basically what it is just what you're seeing, like ghosts, spirits, shadows. It's just a new name for them.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. They just kind of like basically group them all up into one, basically one group. Like I hear people saying that, you know, it's what they see in the corner of their eye. Like you'd be watching TV or something, and then you see something moving in the corner of your eye, and that's what they call it. It's a shadow person because it looks like a shadow.
What happens a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
one of these nights. Oh my god, I don't I just remember this. It was one of the nights I think we're doing the This Man Conspiracy, and I told you about that thing happening at the door.
Yeah.
I'll tell that story really quick. So Marcus leaves. I'm breaking down the stuff, and that windows before I covered it. This is the reason I covered it, because in our door we have this like a window up top where you can just look out.
It's like a half moon looking window.
Yeah, and Marcus leaves, and I'm breaking down in here, and I never get creeped out. And for some reason, I felt like somebody was watching me. Like I could feel like the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And I was facing this way, and I was breaking stuff down, taking my lights down, and I felt that feeling. I was like, what the hell? And I knew that window was just, there was no covering on it. And that was the first thing I looked to.
Is that why the paper towels are on the
Yeah.
window?
That's his curtains.
The
His
thing,
3 paper towels taped to his door.
it looked a lot worse before. But when that happened, I looked back, and there you can see the brick on the wall right there. And I thought it was Marcus, but I felt this creepy feeling. I looked back, and I'm like, all right. So I look at that window just to check if anyone's looking at me, and the motion sensor turns on.
Ugh.
As soon as I felt that feeling turn around, that thing turns on. So I was like, all right, I'm covering this thing.
I'm done with it now.
But the same night, I was.
I do it too. I just something really quick. I'm just slapping it.
But the
over
same
that
night, I would be
window.
taking the stuff down. We're talking about This Man Conspiracy, and what I believe was maybe like almost like a manifestation of him is in that corner, and there's where we're sitting. We can see into our living room, and I could see like a figure standing there, but it's out there towards the window.
Yeah.
And every time I would look at it, it would be gone. But it seemed like a narrow figure standing there.
What's funny is this song was
Is
the
this-
original
This man conspiracy.
This man soundtrack.
And I was
shit.
telling you guys, I was like, I don't get creeped out when I was driving the car today, and this thing turns on this soundtrack, and I just get this feeling like someone's in my back seat. I turned it off.
It just brings up that old feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know when we went on our ghost hunt with Wayward Souls Paranormal?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fucking after that, dude, I felt like there was something in my back seat, like
Driving
for
with
like
you?
a month. Yeah,
Oh wow.
It's weird.
it was. Yeah, I keep looking back there. It's like a car seat, you know. But
No, like right away, like when we left and I dropped you guys off, I was like, I'm not even lying, man. When I was driving home, I was like, I started praying.
Okay,
I was
so
like,
I had
nope, nothing's following me home.
I've
man.
had a weird dream that I haven't even told anybody that night.
Yeah.
So this is bizarre. So it's gonna be like why? I go to sleep. I wake up and Alethea's patting my feet, trying to wake me up. But for some reason, I could see. Remember Danny's recorder?
Yeah.
Remember those speakers that come out like this?
right.
For some reason, when I would open my eyes, I would see those at the bottom of my feet. And when she would tap on my legs, I would feel vibrations in those mics.
That's weird.
Like for some reason, like.
you were the
and-
microphone.
But I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I've never had a dream like this before. Like I wasn't totally present. You know what I mean?
Were you staring at yourself from like above
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Ah.
But it was like I was stuck inside of her recorder.
Okay, that is strange.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like an outer body experience.
Yeah,
type
but for
dream.
some reason I was trapped in her recorder.
Wow, that's weird.
It was almost like you were into the further, or like
Yeah.
that's what they called it on
And it's-
Insidious. Like
and-
when you like out of body experience, so like you kind of like go out of your body.
And for paranormal investigators,
That's
this
weird, man.
is a
That's weird.
means to connect with spirits.
Yep.
So a lot of times, like, what if that's what they're experiencing? Like you're trapping them inside of that.
Oh, okay. So
Kind of like you could take a soul with a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're saying is what you dreamt was probably how they feel.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? It's like I told you it's gonna be
That's
out there,
creepy to think about now that you
That's
explain
fucking
it.
super
I'm like,
weird.
dude, that is weird.
and I couldn't get out of
That
it.
is slightly creepy.
And she was
You're,
getting,
like, trapped in
Alethea
that.
was getting pissed off that I wasn't waking up, and she was nudging my feet, and I wouldn't. All I would feel was that vibration, and I can just hear her, but she was like further away, like I can barely hear her.
That is bizarre.
Should have told her to speak into the foot.
Speak directly to the mic, please. Like I know that has nothing to do with the.
Are so stupid.
And I've been dumb. She's pissed off at me. Speak into my foot, please.
I can't hear you speak into my foot.
But the thing is I had her recorder that day.
Yeah, you had it for a few days, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh
And-
yeah.
And the night before that was when I heard that weird audio.
Oh man.
And it sounded like a woman singing or weeping.
Oh.
So yeah, there's my weird dream.
That is strange, man. That is weird.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with this, but that was weird.
It's got nothing to do with it, but it almost it's like a somewhat like a Ouija board to connect with these things. So it's
Okay.
like
Like still in a way like what some people believe shadow people are to what that is, like ghost spirit type.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
So I don't know how we're gonna tie that in with the podcast, but let's try it.
That was weird, man. That was a crazy night.
That was way crazy.
Yeah, that was.
And Weezy was telling me a couple stories about your workplace now.
Oh man, now
I can
where
finally-
I'm working now, like
The cool thing about this is I can finally do this to you because you do this to me. You're like, you live in that house now.
All right, you work up there now.
No, you work up there now. But you had a story.
But yeah, I used to work alone on Saturdays a lot because we were understaffed and stuff.
Yep.
And a lot of times I'd be like playing on my phone in the office or cleaning or whatever.
yeah.
And we have a cattle guard to come into the landfill where I worked. And you always heard a car drive past that if somebody was coming. Well, a lot of times I wouldn't hear anything. Like sometimes even if there was a person on the scale or whatever, I didn't hear the cattle guard.
Yeah.
So like I was sitting there reading something on my phone, and I seen a shadow walk past the window. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, I probably just didn't hear that car pull up. And
Yeah.
I turned in my seat and swiveled to look at the door, waiting for them to come in. Well, nobody came in, so I went out there, and there's nobody out there. And this isn't the first time. It happens a bunch.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're up there alone. But as I've also seen stuff while I was in the equipment, like out of the corner of your eye, like you were talking about. But like in the trash or freaking like on a dirt pile or something, and I'll look and I'll have to double take to make sure.
Like nobody's down there?
Yeah.
Right, because I'm running heavy machinery, you
Yeah.
know, I don't want to run somebody over. But just weird stuff like that. And I even had like the doors to the shop open up by themselves and close by themselves. Like you can hear and see sometimes the latch turning or the doorknob
Oh,
turning.
weird.
It has one of them straight flat ones, you know.
Marcus now works
Creepy.
there.
Yeah, now I'm gonna be like thinking about that.
And you're up there.
And just the other night, I was up there and it was dark.
And you're up there
man.
alone, right?
Yeah, I was up there and it was dark and it was creepy.
And this is a couple miles out of Hardin.
Trying to rub it in, but no, like
the
there was
dark.
times where I was actually up there working Saturdays after you left there, and I went to help out, and yeah, I'd be up there by myself all day, and I think there was only like once or twice where I thought I saw somebody walk by the window, and I'd go outside and there was nobody there. But I try not to think about it, and like, you know, maybe I'm just seeing things, you know. But then, like, thinking about it now, like, yeah, I was probably seeing something.
Right.
So the thing about shadow people is why are these mediums going into these places and they're communicating with all these other spirits, but when it comes to shadow people, they don't want to communicate with them.
Yeah. Maybe it's something like they don't want to say. Maybe something they don't want to.
And a lot of times they grew up with
that. They
them.
don't want to talk about. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Like, you know, thinking of they seen it all their life, something that probably bothered them their whole life, and they don't want to deal with it.
Right. Kind of like the Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Kid sees dead people all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like the mediums grow up seeing shadows all the time and not knowing how to really deal with it till later.
Yeah.
And it just brings back traumatic experiences.
Yeah, probably. Like, yeah, like, I mean, I know this happens to like pretty much everybody. Is you think you see something in the corner of your eye, and you go to look and there's nothing there. That is what this is supposed to be, like that type of thing. Or even seeing people walk by, they even say they'd see a silhouette of a man and he's wearing a hat.
Yeah.
And a lot of people started saying that they think he was like kind of almost like the main one they see,
Like the father of the whole thing.
kind of like, yeah. And some people even say that when they look directly at him, a lot of times he was the only one you could look directly at.
That's strange.
And they said, like, you can almost see like eyes, but they'd have like a red.
Is that like
red
almost like
tint? Or
is that
glow.
like something like almost like the Babadook
Yeah,
movie?
in a way. Like some people, but yeah. So if you look it up, like if you look up shadow people, a lot of times
that thing.
idiot. A lot of the times you're literally gonna come across the Hat Man.
Yeah.
Look up shadow people, you'll come across the Hat Man.
It's funny, I like never really had heard about like the Hat Man as like a thing that everybody sees.
Mm-hmm.
But Aaron, when we do our podcast with ghost stories or something,
Yeah.
I have to have him tell you he used to see a shadow person in a cowboy hat at the
wow.
Stockman bar when he lived there.
Interesting.
Wow, okay, yeah, I gotta hear that story.
And it's creepy as fuck. So
Yeah, like I even seen I mean, I like watching those like paranormal ghost videos, ghost hunters and stuff like that.
right.
And I remember them actually going in the basement of a bar, and they saw a guy, and it looks like he was wearing a cowboy hat. And they said it was like probably the only full apparition they've ever caught. And you could just see him, man. It looks like he's wearing a cowboy hat. He walks out, and then he steps back in.
So it could be like he's the only one who's able to show himself at will.
Like fully manifest?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he's the father of all these other shadow people.
Yeah.
Like
Because
the most powerful one.
I told him a story, and actually I think it was on the last one we did, but I'll tell you again. It was when I was living here, and the way
He's trying to rub it back into my face again.
Bedroom setup is the exact way I had mine set up. You know, I had the bed, you know, up against the two windows.
I think about this story.
And yeah.
I do.
And okay, so like right in front of me, you know, the foot of the bed, the door is at the left side.
Right in front.
Yeah, right there. And you know, I remember opening my eyes, and I was laying on my back. I opened my eyes and I looked down, and I saw somebody standing in the doorway, but I couldn't see details really, barely any details. Like you see, like kind of almost like the you know, collar of the shirts, you know, stuff like that, edge of the sleeves, and it was just a shadow, and it was wearing a hat. But it wasn't that type of hat. It wasn't like a cowboy hat or like a fedora type hat. It looked like the kind of hat you're wearing.
Like a baseball
Mm-hmm.
cap.
Mhm.
It looked like that. And it was really tall. And I remember staring at it for like 15 seconds straight, not moving. And then I kind of blinked for like 2 seconds. I was like, okay, you know, am I sleeping? And I opened my eyes again. And I was still laying in that same position looking at the door. And there was nothing there. So like right away, you know, I'm thinking, okay, if there's someone in my house, I gotta make sure. So I pull out my pistol and I start walking through the house. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go through the house, you know, and kind of walk through, checked all the rooms, checked everything, man. I checked under the beds, I checked, you know, like ripped open the shower curtain, I opened the front door, I checked everything, and there was nobody in the house.
Oh, that's creepy.
I didn't hear the doors shut. I didn't hear any doors shut. And it was just, yeah, that when I saw that just, man, that creeped me out. I didn't even tell Sarah for I don't know how long. I didn't say anything because she gets scared so easy. And I was always like, all right, I'm gonna keep this to myself for a while. Like,
Remember that house we all used to live in?
yeah.
Freaking
That's funny that you could say that.
Right. We didn't live there at the same time. My room was the one at the end of the kitchen, and it had addition onto the house, but they didn't take the window out, you know?
Yeah.
That was my
And-
room too.
Right. And I used to see like a silhouette of somebody in there all the time.
In that window?
It was, in that window. And it was bad enough to where I hung an American flag over the window because it was the only thing big enough to cover the whole thing.
So you can't laugh at my shade up there covering my window.
It was an American flag,
It was
not a
real-
paper towel.
Yeah, it was real patriotic.
Right.
You can't make fun of him. He's an American.
Right.
From America.
Yeah, did you guys have any experiences with that window? It was kind of creepy.
We've had
wasn't it?
experiences in that house.
Not the window, but the house itself. Yeah.
I had loads of experience in that house.
God,
but
it
I'll
was
save that
creepy.
for a different time.
My-
You know what? Well, I'll tell you something really funny. I remember coming home, like, every now and then, and I'd walk. I started staying downstairs. You've been downstairs. It's like just a big wide
Was
open.
it Dad's overalls?
Yeah. Like I remember walking in, and the stairs going down. They kind of go down a few steps, and they turn,
and then come down.
And up above those first flight of stairs is the attic,
Which is the grossest
It
spot
goes
for an
down.
attic.
Yeah.
Right, dude. Right on the steps.
And it's always
It's
cracked
stupid.
open this much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Every
it
time.
wasn't like that.
It
when
was
I lived
always
there.
open like this. Like you
It
walk in and
used to
look up,
shut.
it was always open just enough.
Oh, creepy.
And I remember I'd always look up and I'd shut it, man. It's like I'd always jump
That's
up
where I
and
got
shut
that
it.
painting right there.
Yeah, that was actually up
In that
in
attic.
the
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he brings it here. So.
That's
But
funny.
anyway, I walk in and I look up and I just saw full figure, legs, arms, and it was up off the ground, up in the air like this,
Hanging.
right in front of me, and I almost shit myself. I fall back, and it was my dad's overalls. He hung them there to dry.
Oh, jeez.
Didn't our sister
He
see
hung them there almost every night, and it'd scare the hell out of me.
God right in the corner?
Yeah. It's like,
Didn't,
oh,
didn't
you
she
do that.
see you walking up the stairs?
Who?
Dolores.
Oh yeah, Dolores, our sister, saw me walking up the stairs, and she said that I stopped. And
She said she was creeped out by you though.
Yeah, she said I had a different look in my eye. She said I just looked like way different. She said it was me, looked like me with my eyes. She said I looked just almost evil looking, like mean.
And it was he? Do you remember?
Yeah, and she said that she tried to say something to me, and she said I stopped, and I was just standing there and in those stairs, and it's always dark.
You were in the- you were in the
it was
basement?
Yeah, it's the
always
darkest
dark.
part of the
Yeah,
house.
it's the
Yeah.
darkest part of the house. And she said I stood there, and I just turned around and I walked back downstairs. And she was kind of like, what the hell was that? I think Gloria.
And that's when you were staying downstairs?
Yeah, that's when I was staying downstairs. But after she said I walked downstairs, the front door opened and I walked in.
That's
Oh,
disgusting.
It wasn't me.
Oh, that's gross. It's nasty.
That's gross. Yeah. So that house was
Weird. Yeah.
that house was it was fucked up to say the least.
And that's-
I'm gonna say that.
That
It
story
was
about
really
you told in the
bad.
last podcast about that whistling happened. That was the same house outside.
Yeah, that same house.
Right.
And that was actually a shadow person story.
Yeah.
Because that was the only one of the only times that you actually saw a full body, I'd say apparition, because the way you described it, peeking around corners,
Right.
that's exactly what it was doing. It was like it was playing with us.
Yeah.
And it was after my brother whistled.
Don't whistle at night.
Yeah,
Just
that's
don't
like
do that.
Aaron's rule number 1.
Yeah. But another experience I had, which it was me and my roommate both seen it. The way my house is set up was like a living room,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was like an arched doorway, and then there was a bathroom straight ahead, and then a bedroom on either side.
Yeah.
And I had this L couch that sat like this. So me and him were sitting on here.
Was this the same house?
No, this is the house on Center Street by the
Okay.
liquor store. And me and him are sitting on that couch, like watching a movie, smoking cigarettes or something. And I see something walk from my room to his room. And so I'm like, man, what the heck? And I turned and looked
On the side of you?
on the side of me.
Yeah.
And then he was turning and looking too. And I looked at him. He's like, you saw that too, right? And I was like, yeah. And so we got up, and both our bedroom doors were shut.
Oh, weird.
And it walked through our doors.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And yeah, it was freaking weird as hell.
I'll tell you another one. Like, I've told this one before, but I'll tell you, like, since we're talking about this again, this is when I used to live upstairs. You know, it's a totally different apartment, and the one that my older brother is living in now. But I was sitting there, you know, I had the chairs set up, you know, facing the TV, and, you know, the walkway that you come in, it was to the left of me. You know, it's that big old doorway.
Right.
You've been up there, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah. And okay, there's the master bedroom over here, and then you'd walk down that little hallway, there's the bathroom, and then the other bedroom. And I was sitting there, and I had my door open, so, you know, the window was open, so there was kind of some light beaming through. And I was watching TV, and my girl was playing on the ground. You know, she was playing, you know, with some toys, and I just saw somebody walk by, and this wasn't quick, this was slow. I could see like steps going right by me, and it went toward the bathroom. And I just immediately like kind of got that scared stiff feeling where I just, oh my God, you know, I didn't want to move.
So scared you can't do nothing.
Yeah, I didn't want to move.
Can't even think.
I kind of stopped, you know, I was thinking, you know, holy shit, did I just see that? And I glance over, and I didn't see anything, and I looked down, and my daughter is peeking around the corner like she just saw something walk by. Oh. And then she looks at me, and she looks scared, and she comes running to me, and I pick her up. I'm like, you know, it's okay, you know, and I set her down on the seat I was sitting on, and I walked toward that hallway, and her room, you know, was closed, and the bathroom door was closed. So I opened up the girl's room, and there was nothing in there. Now, this is the part that really freaked me out, was because the bathroom door was closed, and we were lived on, you know, second story, so like nobody could come in the windows or anything like that.
Right.
There was one doorway in, one doorway out, and the doorknob started jiggling and shaking by itself. It started shaking, and I remember standing there staring at it, thinking, you know, what the hell is going on? Right. And I finally gathered the courage, and I grabbed the doorknob, and I threw it open, and I hit the light on. And I already had the bathroom curtain. It was already open. There was nothing in there.
I never have my bathroom curtain shut.
Me neither. No,
it's always open.
Like when Gino freaking takes a shower, when I go into his bathroom, I open that thing. And then I pee.
Lived in too many haunted houses.
Yeah, but no, like that's like kind of one of the things why is like, you know, we'd always scare each other. You know, like everybody, like my brothers, my cousins, we'd always like scare the hell out of each other. So I'd like every now and then I'd always open it. It's just habit. You know, I'd always open it. And so it was already wide open, and I opened it, and it's just standing there like, what the hell was that, you know? And I just automatically called my dad. You know, we only had one car at the time, and my Sarah was at work. We were dating at the, you know, we were kind of just moved in our first apartment, and so she had the car. She was at work, and so I just called my dad. I was like, hey, come pick me up. You know, I'm not staying here right now. And he came right over, picked me up, and, you know, took me home. But yeah, that was creepy as hell.
I had a story about staying in that house too, and that one you were talking about, the one we all lived in.
Yeah.
I was staying in that room across from the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that was my little brother's room.
Yeah. Was that closet there where it still opened up like that?
Yeah. Yep.
And okay, so I had my bed right next to it, and stuff would always happen in that room. Like me and Merle would be hanging out in there, and stuff would start moving around in that room. And we messed around with it one time and asked it questions, and it moved to walkie-talkie. We're asking it, like Merle hit something in the room, I think, and he asked it, if you know where it is, point to it. And that walkie-talkie spins around, points at it. It was around.
You guys just like make your own Ouija board?
Yeah, it was around the same time.
Out of a walkie-talkie.
So, I watched the movie Devil. Have you guys watched that?
Yeah. Yes, I know.
It's where they're trapped in an elevator.
Oh yeah.
And this old lady eats everybody or something. And I watched that movie. This is the last time I watched it, first and last time. I go to sleep that night, and immediately I was in this dark room, but there was a figure sitting across me. I was crouched on the floor, and this thing looked like an alien, but it was whispering and it was talking like in remember that video we watched of that demon messing with that camera?
Oh,
and he's like
that crap. It's like speaking like an old dead language.
Yeah, but he was talking to me, and he was really close to me, and all I could see in my dream was my eyes opening and shutting. And every time I opened and shut, he would get closer and he would keep talking to me. And he was really tall, lanky, really skinny, and didn't have no human features at all. Just the humanoid figure.
This is the first time I've ever heard this story.
I've never told it.
And it is disgusting.
And he's talking to me, but for some reason I can conversate with him. I was speaking in the same language, but I had no idea what the hell I was saying. And we get to the end of our conversation, he puts his hand up like this, and his hands are disgusting. I mean, they're like really lanky and like there's no bones or nothing in them. And he reaches out to touch me. And when he touches me, I start gasping in that dream. I wake up, I'm standing in that closet.
Ugh.
And I'm gasping for breath.
What the hell?
That's funny that you like kind of sleptwalk into that closet.
Yeah.
Because my little brother used to stay in that room.
Don't say it.
And I told you guys this story before. I don't know if I told it on the podcast.
No.
But he used to sleepwalk down to the basement and be playing. And
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And it was super creepy basement, all pull string lights all the way down. And he'd be like, where our TV was at the very front of the basement. And he was down there, asleep in the dark, pitch black, playing with somebody.
That's disgusting.
And when we asked him, he would always
God.
say, "Oh, I'm just playing with grandma."
Oh, that's gross.
You know, and the funny thing is, he would say that, and you would smell like old lady perfume.
Wow.
And it was weird.
Wow.
But he would do this every once in a while. I don't think it happened a whole lot, but like it happened more than once. And it was just creepy. He would sleepwalk down there.
Yeah, I'm done with that house.
No.
don't
I
like
think
that
we
house.
should see who the owners are. And go take a peek.
Yeah. Tell
was
them all the
just-
stories, and then
They're gonna
they move out.
Okay, so if you guys don't know where this is, it's in Hardin, Montana. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
He didn't really give him the address.
No, I
But,
won't do that.
like,
It's
yeah,
fucking-
like, that is it.
But yeah, I have never watched that movie again. Just because I was in that, basically like I was in that elevator.
Right. Yeah, fuck that.
So that's the thing that always happens every time we talk about this subject is ghost stories come up,
Yeah.
because that's what you familiarize them with, is like ghost type beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying something, I know you mentioned this before, is that you believe that they were interdimensional. Like they were almost residual spirits, or they were actually in another time loop or something, and they were just interacting with our realm.
No, I said like some people believe that's what they are. You know, that some people believe they're interdimensional, like they might be in a different time or whatever, or a different dimension, and they're basically living their lives the same place we are. We're like inhabiting the same space, but they're in a different time or something like that.
Okay,
So that's kind of what they believe, but I always like kind of believe them to be like what they call familiar spirits.
yeah.
And that's basically a spirit that kind of mimics you when you die.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, some people say they're trying to talk to people that have passed on, and this is almost like another theory of what that is basically it's a spirit that mimics them, and that's kind of what shadow people could be also.
And that's like demonic possession. I
Yeah.
mean, the things I learned about demons is when they attach themselves to you, they are so attached to you that they have your memories. They familiarize themselves with you with sense. They know when you're like vacant, like if you're to go to church and stuff, praying and things, and they check on you. And the thing about them is they take on your personality totally. So that means like your body as well, as they'll mimic your body, your movements, the way you talk. And
Now, like the one thing that always brought up, like every time you talked about that, like even when we're not even doing this, like
Mhm.
you'd always bring that up. It always kind of made me think about when people talk about past lives. Like,
Yeah.
is it that spirit's memories, not that person's?
oh right,
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Like there was even a story where a little girl said that she died in this house. Did you remember that?
Mhm.
Read about that? And she even told them where this house was, and she told them how she died. And she said she got shot on her side. and I think she had a birthmark there too. And she said she died there, and her parents, out of curiosity, looked it up, and they found somebody did die there. And the way that person died, he was shot on that same side, that same spot that she pointed at on her body.
Disgusting.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have a daughter.
So that's what I mean. Like,
I have another story in that same subject, but I'll save it for a different podcast. It's a long one.
But yeah, like that's what I mean. Like if it is like familiar spirits doing these type of things and mimicking people, that they have those memories from way back, and they just basically mimic all these different people.
That's disgusting. Like, getting along the same lines, we're kind of going off topic here for a second. But my only experience with that was with my daughter, and we were listening to Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis, and he was talking about that stuff. About
so
how
you're just kind of asking for it.
Yeah. And he was talking about how these children are having past lives and they remember things.
Yeah.
Halfway home, listening to that freaking broadcast, River, she doesn't understand this crap.
Yeah.
Like, she can't listen to it and understand that she should make this up.
Yeah.
She's too young. Halfway home, she starts talking about one of Alethia's sisters. And she says, Auntie's crying, and she's holding her leg. She hurt her leg, and she's crying. And Alethia's like, Auntie? And she's like, you haven't seen her in like a few weeks. And so we were listening to that broadcast, so Alethea gets the idea to, okay, let's call her auntie. She calls her auntie and asks her if everything's okay. And she said, River was crying about you and said you hurt your leg. Her sister was speechless. And she says, I just broke my foot last night.
Oh, wow.
No, that's weird.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I think that's something else, but we'll save that for later.
Yeah. We've got off way topic, but you just remember that story.
Though. Yeah, it is.
But it's kind of funny that we all lived in that same house. We all had experiences, and it was all kind of
horrible experiences.
It was all sort of connected to shadow people, because you had an experience outside that house.
We've all cut that part into this video where I talk about it, because it's a story.
And we've all had experiences in that house, and it kind of seems like there's the shadow people connected to that property.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I hear people tell me their theories all the time, what they believe, what they think. Like a lot of people that if they've listened to what we. Like our past podcasts, they know what I believe them to be and what I believe like a lot of things to be. But I always love hearing what other people believe and stuff. Yeah. It's interesting, like to hear other people's perspectives and stuff like that.
We did a whole a series of podcasts of what we believe they are. Yeah. And people can go back in our podcast and just check those out.
Yeah.
Anything to add there, Weezy?
Nope, I'm good.
You think that does it?
He's like, I'm done. I'm creeped out enough.
Yeah, I have to drive myself later.
Hey, I gotta go out of town in the dark, out in the fields.
Keep your window shut.
I gotta go to my bedroom.
I'm not ever opening that window.
Where Marcus saw that figure.
Oh yeah.
Heard the figure anyway.
Yeah.
That was so ugly.
This has been our 4th episode of the Urban Legends series. Next week we're jumping into ghost trains, ghost cars, and what was the second one?
What, ghost trains, ghost cars, and I think we're doing a segment on just nothing but ghost stories, aren't we?
Right. This week coming up, we're getting into our Halloween special. You guys will be able to see. We're actually going to me and Weezy actually, or tomorrow actually going to the Moss Mansion, and that's going to be something cool to go jump into. And we're gonna see if we can get you guys to come out next week. And for you guys listening and watching, you guys can see that air on Halloween night. It's going to be a really cool segment. We're going to go to the Moss Mansion, talk about what's happening there, because I guess there's people having experiences even at the Moss Mansion. A lot of the workers and things that made the paper.
Nice.
And it's going to be something that...
Isn't there something about like a maid?
Yeah. It's going to be something to investigate.
I want to hear about that.
Even the guy who built the place, he had experiences there.
Wow. So like, you think it's just the foundation?
It could be.
And just everything that's happening there
Amityville
adds to it.
Could be like, yeah.
Wow.
That being said, you are listening to Fallen Hour Radio. This has been Fallen Hour's Urban Legends. Cue Weezy yet again with that finger gun.
You gotta cock it.
Out.
Wow.